What's going on, everyone? It's Els here. I'm bringing you a build video for the Magic and Nightblade. Now, this build works for battlegrounds, sewers, open world PvP. It's a little bit harder in open world PvP. You have to play more of a stealthy style. You have to really pick and choose your targets. But it's very, very effective in all platforms, and you're going to see why. This is the new cancer for ESO. Last year it was Viper and Veladreth and Tremor Scale, and combining that with any other proc set that you want, and now it's this. You can run this build on a few different classes. I think it's best on a Magic and Nightblade. I'm going to go through the gear. I'm going to go through the skills. I'm going to do everything that I do. And there are a lot of alternatives. And when I get to them, I'm going to leave it up to you guys for what those alternatives are. But this is very effective. The damage is a lot of fun. I've been playing it in no CP today, and I've had some really gross kills. And, if you're melting people in CP, it's just going to be stupid in Battlegrounds. So let's dive into it. We are running 5 Overwhelming Surge. Now, this is not a new set. A lot of people have come out with builds with Overwhelming Surge. It is a great set. Max Magicka spell damage. Spell damage, when you activate a class ability, you have a 15% chance to surround yourself with a torrent that deals 2245 shock damage to the closest enemy within 12 meters of you every 1 second for 6 seconds. This can keep proccing, and it procs off of all class skills. So just about every class has a lot of class skills, but we're going to run this on both bars. I only have blue jewelry. It's not that big of a deal, to be honest. You don't lose a whole lot, but you get this in Tempest Island. Very, very powerful set. It hits one person, but it also will pull Nightblades out of stealth. It doesn't look like it does a ton of damage, but tooltips are really high. It's just a really nice pressure set, and the 2, 3, 4 is a lot of damage. So we're running 3 jewelry and 2 body. We want to have that on both bars because we have class skills on our back bar and our front bar, so we can proc it more if we have it on both. The other one we're running is Clarion's Legacy. Now, I know you guys have seen it before. I talked about my potential AIDS Magplar build when Dragon Bones dropped. This is the other set that I'm combining with it. Spell crit, spell damage, spell crit, all damage, and then when you deal critical damage with a single target magic ability, you launch a fire, ice, shock, or disease ball at your target that deals 16,309 damage and applies a status effect. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. Disease one's not as good. I was hitting my buddy in medium armor. Shout out to Reven. I was hitting him for about 5,500 with the disease ball. The fireball was 10k, I'm pretty sure. So with the status effect, which is also a burning dot. This is very, very effective. It can occur once every 10 seconds. With a Magic and Nightblade, we can guarantee crits. So a concealed weapon using Shadowy Disguise will always proc this set every 10 seconds. Now, this can be dodged, it can be blocked at range, but that's why we're playing melee. Up close, you really can't avoid it. You concealed weapon, you put them on the ground, this procs, this hits, it's going to take half their health bar. If they have around 20k health, it's going to take more than half their health bar with just a concealed weapon. You apply an ultimate and execute, and you've now 3-shot somebody. It's that effective. So very, very strong set. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to run 3 body, and I haven't even leveled everything and transmuted everything yet. And we're running front bar, preferably 2 swords. I have not gotten them yet. I got an axe, and I just wanted to throw it together because honestly, the proc's so good. It's not as big of a deal as you think it is. Like, you're still going to melt people with an axe. Obviously, sword is better. Like, you should go farm the sword. I'm going to farm the sword. I got tired of farming, so this is what I had. I wanted to test it. Got out there. It's definitely worth running. We're running a dummy Resto on the back bar. Now, honestly, I just haven't transmuted it and leveled it up, but running a Clarion's Legacy on the back bar would probably be the best option because then you would have 4 pieces on the back bar and it would give you the spell crit. But having a dummy Resto staff isn't that big of a deal. You could run Infused. I'm running Defending because our Magicka, because we're running 2 proc sets, our Magicka is a little bit lower. And so I want the resistances because our health bar is going to be getting dipped into a little bit more than like you know, my traditional Twiceborn star set. I'm running 50,000 max magic with that build. My wards are very big. I don't have to worry about my wards getting chewed through as much as I do with this build because we're only running 36,000. So I'm running defending. You can try infused. I'll try infused as well, but it's been working out just fine for me. You want a spell damage enchant on this back bar to proc that to get more damage. And then we're running 2-piece Zon, another proc set. 1-piece spell crit, and then when you damage a nearby enemy with a light or heavy attack, which you do a lot on a Magic and Nightblade, you have a 20% chance to create a beam of fire. I'm not even going to read what it says. It's basically a beam of fire that destroys whoever it hits. If they can't break the distance, it melts them. Now, for you guys that are having a hard time dealing with Zon, if you're a Nightblade, you can cloak it immediately. If you're a Templar, you can purify it. Outside of that, you either have to block or streak or just get out of the way. Like DKs, you're gonna have to really tank up, and you know when this goes off, you're gonna have to really preserve your stamina. Sorks, streak, get the distance, break this beam because it is nasty. My Magic and Nightblade's a Dark Elf. The fire damage works out very well. It's very, very effective. So as far as consumables go, we are running Witch Mother's Potent Brew. We need this for the health bonus and the Magicka and the Magicka recovery. I am also running Tripots. Our stamina is a little bit lower, so it's nice to have Tripots for this build. If we were to go into no CP, I would run Spell Power Pots. I would take off Entropy off our back bar. I would put Siphoning attacks on. I would run Spell Power Pots, and that's how we're going to sustain a little bit better in no CP. It's going to be a kill or be killed situation, but you're going to kill a lot of people with this build. As far as the stats go, there you go on the front bar, 2254 magic recovery, 1902 spell damage, 36,000 magicka. It's nothing special on the sets. It's just we have 3 proc sets that do a shit ton of damage. I am running the Atronach Mundus, 64 points in the magicka. We are a stage 4 vampire. It does help to get around quite a bit. Yeah, skills. Now, this is where I'm having a hard time, guys. Is finding all the good skills to fit. You'll see that there's one skill that's missing that you're actually going to be surprised by, but we'll dive into it. We're running Impale. This is our Execute. We're going to have so much burst damage, this is just going to zap somebody at low health. When we have our Overwhelming or our Zon going off, they're going to have a really hard time getting away. Lotus Fan. This also helps keep Zon on people. If they try to get away, we can gap close, and this goes through snares. So if we're in Talons, if we're in a trap beast and they're trying to escape, that we can still gap close to them with this, and we can keep Zon overwhelming all of that on them. It also applies a dot. Very effective. It snares them as well. Yeah, just a really good skill. Shadowy Disguise. I like this on the front bar because we're going to combine that with Concealed Weapon. Helps us move faster. Also guarantees a critical strike, which then procs Calurian. Very effective. Mass Hysteria. I still like Mass Hysteria for the block builds. I like being able to drain the stamina pool. Like when we have Overwhelming going off and we have all this other stuff and you run across a Magplar, a lot of them can block cast through everything, but if you're fearing them every 6 seconds, you're going to put a lot of pressure on them. I still think fear needs to be on your bar. I think all these need to be on your bar so far. Concealed Weapon. This is how we're going to proc Calurians. This is our spammable DPS. Has to be on your bar. As far as ultimate goes, you could run Soul Assault, you could run Meteor, you could run Soul Harvest, you could run Incapacitating Strike for the knockdown. They're all good. I'm running Soul Tether because I wanted the Siphoning ability on my front bar. Siphoning, the passive, I think it's Magicka Flood. Increase your Magicka by 8% while a Siphoning ability is slotted. It's a very good ultimate that does a ton of damage. It also heals you. It helps because we're a little bit more squishy with this build. Good burst damage, but then we also get 8% more max Magicka while we're running it. You can run the other ones, like I said. They're all good. That's why I'm running Siphoning. Lights Champion on the back bar. Structured Entropy for our major sorcery. Shadow Image, this is how we're going to get in and out of fights. This needs to be down and provides minor maim. It allows us to escape if all of a sudden, a couple Nightblades come out and they're jumping on us. We want to get back in stealth and resituate the fight. When you're a Magicka Nightblade, you don't want to sit there and take damage. Your goal is to absorb the damage, get to your Shadowy Disguise, get out, and then pick and choose who you're going to pick off with the tremendous amount of burst damage that you have. Harness Magicka. This is just a shield. We need this to stay alive. Crippling Grasp, very good damage over time effect. It also is part of the siphoning skill line, so it gives us 8% max magic on our back bar. Now, this is probably where I would fit Merciless Resolve. I do not have that on my bar, so I'm missing out on 8% max magic. I'm also missing out on the Merciless proc. I know a lot of... I've been trying to fit it on my bar, and I just can't. I can't fit it on my bar with how I'm running everything. I feel like with the procs, we don't really need Merciless. If you can fit it, if you want to run it on your front bar and like replace Lotus Fan because you can get around with Concealed Weapon, you could definitely do it that way. You could also put it here. You're going to miss out on the 8% max magic. I mean, the other way to do it would be to run Merciless here, run Cripple here, and then, you know, run Spell Power Pots. You're going to have to really be careful with your stamina. You're going to have to play a lot more kitey than I can, or than I do with this build because I'm running Tripots. You know, you have to really watch your stamina because we have a low stamina pool. And so 1 or 2 CC breaks and you're done. So you got to really be careful with that. Healing Ward, you know, keep us alive, yada, yada, yada. Champion points. 16 in a Warlord, 100 in a Tenacity, 100 in Arcanist. This is actually PvE CP. So we're gonna go through and we're going to edit this for you guys. I completely forgot that I was set up for PvE. It's still been very effective. So we're going to put more points in tumbling because we have a very low stamina pool. So we want to make sure we have a lot into here. We're going to put a lot more into break free. Actually, we'll probably put the rest of these into break free. Oh, there we go. We'll keep the 100 in Arcanist just because it comes in handy. I don't think it really matters at this point. Okay. 49. So the green tree right here, if you guys saw it, 44 Warlord, 100 Arcanist, 43 in a Tenacity, 51 Tumbling, 2 in a Shadow Ward, 51 Elfborn, 49 Ellie Expert, 30 Spell Erosion, 26 Master at Arms. We're going to adjust this a little bit because we do not... I mean, you can run... Gosh, that's tough. Because the Exploiter passive is nice. The 10% more damage to off-balance enemies. We're going to be doing a lot of concealed weapons from stealth. I guess I would still keep this. We're not really running a lot of damage over time effects, but the 10% is a lot. Actually, I'd probably just keep this exactly the way it is. I'd take the 9 out of here because we're not really doing staff attacks, and then I would put more into here. And then I would put the... Okay, so 49 Ellie Expert, 51 Elfborn, 31 Spell Erosion, 34 Master at Arms, and 75 Thaumaturge. Now this is up for debate. I'm not saying that this is the best way to do it. We really only have Entropy. We really only have Crippling Grasp. Those are 2 dots. Lotus Fan, I guess, technically is a dot as well. I wonder if our Soul Tether is buffed by this. If it is, then it's not as big of a deal. But the Exploiter passive comes in handy with this build because we are going to be hitting people with Concealed Weapon from stealth quite a bit. So 51 Ironclad, 49 Hardy, 49 Ellie Defender, 26 Thick Skin, 65 in a Bastion. Yeah, that's the end of the CP. Yeah, so anyway, I will post a couple clips with this. I'm going to get a few more in the next couple days. Today is the first day of the double AP event. I'm having a really hard time just weapon swapping right now in PvP. I've gotten a few good clips, but I want a few more for you guys. The damage is just really, really, really strong. You apply a lot of pressure. Our tool tips for our damage, for our flat damage, aren't really that high. You know, 7316 unbuffed. Our Soul Tether is 10,000. But when you start talking about, you know, overwhelming procking 15% of the time, and then that's just going to be a non-stop dot, and every time we hit with a concealed weapon. I'm just going to go to my house really quick, and I'll show that really quick. But our Calurians will always proc. You know, when it comes off a cooldown and we hit with Cloak, we will guarantee a Calurian's proc, and if it's fire damage, it freaking melts. So very nasty build, like I said, in very nasty build in CP. In no CP, it's just, I'm sure it's really dumb. I was fighting a 40k health tank earlier today. and, you know, wasn't doing anything. Then Zahn went off and he died. Like 40k health to 0 with Zahn. That's just what it does. So, yeah, you fear them. If they don't CC break right away, they get 2 to 3 of the end ticks with Zahn and it's over. So, yeah. I think this probably needs to be adjusted. I think Zahn, in general, I mean, I like how low the proc chance is. You don't proc it a whole lot, but it's just one of those sets that when it does proc, the kill rate of it is ridiculously high. It's just, you're just guaranteeing kills all the time. And I'm not a huge fan of that style of set. You know, it shouldn't be like a 5% chance to instantly nuke your opponent, which is basically what that set is. You know, it's just a lot of damage. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it. There's stamina classes out there running with Zahn. There's a bunch of magic classes running out there just because when it does proc, it's game over. So I'd like to see them look at it. I'd like to see them, I mean, I wouldn't be against them upping the proc rate and then lowering the overall damage. You know, that way it's still useful in PvE and whatnot, still useful in PvP. It's just not devastating, you know, if you have it on you for 3 or 4 seconds like it currently is. So, yeah, I'm going to go into my house really quick. I'm just going to show you, you know, how it's going to proc. I'm going to kind of show you how we're going to run it here really quick, and then we will end the video. So, yeah, the concealed weapon's nice on the front bar. It'll allow us to get around quite a bit, stay stealthed, and, you know, pick and choose our targets. You want to try and choose the weaker targets, obviously. You know, you don't want to go after tanks. You know, we have burst damage, but you don't typically have 40k burst damage unless Zahn procs. So really pick and choose your targets well. So when we're fighting, you know, we're going to drop our shadow image. We're going to hit with our cripple. We're going to do our entropy. And now when you watch this and I conceal weapon him, it's going to set him off balance. Oh, is it not going to stun him like it used to? There it is. And then you get this thing on your shoulder and it shoots a ball at them. And so as you saw there, that was a disease damage proc. And so now, you know, if I remember correctly, disease damage, you know, they have minor maim or minor defile. So now they have reduced healing. If we do it again, procs again, you know, another disease damage proc. It's every 10 seconds. And you'll see here when I do it a few times, it'll happen every time. So our combo when we do this, and you can turn this into a gank build really easily. You know, you take off Fear, you put Inner Light on. You take off Crippling Grasp, you put Merciless on your back bar. And then you probably, instead of running Zahn, you run like 2 weapon damage, like 1 Kina and 1 Grothdar. And you very easily could turn this into a gank build because of how much damage it does. So that one's a lightning one. So now they take 8% more damage. Very effective set for close range. Now I know a lot of Sorks have used that on their range builds. It's not as good on a range build because it's so easily dodgeable. Now, if I stand back here, I don't know if cripple counts as single target magic ability. I think it does. So there's my... Okay, so I'm going to have to take this off and put Swallow Soul on and show it to you at range and just show you how slow this little ball is. But yeah, it's just... Whoa. Calm down, dude. It's just, in my opinion, it's just not as good at long range because people can see it coming and then they're going to, you know, dodge roll or they're going to block. So if I fight at this range, we're going to keep spamming this until it procs. We need a crit. Am I too far away? Am I just not hitting a crit? Okay. I must be too far away. That's really weird. I'm not sure why it's... Oh, I'm dumb. I don't have it on my back bar. So yeah, so it's not going to proc on your back bar when you don't have a 5-piece set. So the only problem that I've had with this specific build is because we're running Overwhelming, Overwhelming will take you out of stealth when it procs, and it will proc off your cloak, so sometimes it's unfortunate when that goes off. But with that being said, you could run, you could run Spinners, you could run Julianos, you could run something like that. So that's basically the gist of the build, guys. Like I told you before, we're going to switch my skill back over here really quick, and I'll go through, how we're going to kind of fight. But we're going to light attack, cripple. We've already procced Overwhelming. We're going to go in, and we're going to hit him with this. That fireball goes off, and then we're going to soul tether. And so now all of a sudden you have the concealed weapon burst, you have the Calurian's burst, and then you have soul tether, which is going to stay on them for, X amount of time until they break it. And then you can still stay in this range and execute. And it's a lot of pressure once it all goes off. So let me know what you guys think. Please try it. Please try it out. Please provide feedback to ZeniMax about this, because I do think this is too strong. I think in general this build will be overperforming in no CPs. So thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.